AM 1050 WLIP.
Are you looking for the hottest places to have a dinner date or the coolest places to grab a drink and appetizers with friends? Well, 262 Eats has it all. 262 Eats is a local food show that features the best the area has to offer. Watch Ralph Nudi as he samples the food, interviews the owners, and takes you inside and behind the scenes of the favorite places of locals and travelers alike. Be sure to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel to win prizes, gift certificates, and get special discount offers. That's 262 Eats.
Shop local. You hear it a lot, but it means more now. Escalis' American Floor Show in Gurnee is a second-generation business proudly helping local charities and kids' teams for decades. To adhere to healthy guidelines in our area, Escalis' American Floor Show has been setting private appointments and showing products using technologies like FaceTime. You've been spending more time at home. Now you really know what needs to be replaced. Get new carpet, hardwood, tile, or laminate installed. Open by appointment. Online at Escalis'AmericanFloorShow.com. Escalis' American Floor, where friends send friends.
Are you looking for the hottest places to have a dinner date or the coolest places to grab a drink and appetizers with friends? Well, 262 Eats has it all. 262 Eats is a local food show that features the best the area has to offer. Watch Ralph Nudi as he samples the food, interviews the owners, and takes you inside and behind the scenes of the favorite places of locals and travelers alike. Be sure to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel to win prize discount offers. That's 262 Eats.
Kenosha's conversation happens here. Weekdays 3 to 5. Remembering Kenosha with Lou Rigotti. Live and local radio. AM 1050 WLIP. AM 1050 WLIP. Kenosha County Radar Weather. Brought to you by
S.J. Crystals. For the finest in men's fashions. Downtown 6th Avenue. SJCrystals.com.
Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 38. Then tomorrow, Monday, increasing clouds with a high near 47. Monday night, 30% chance of showers late and a low of 39. Then Tuesday, mostly cloudy with a 50% chance of showers and a high near 51. Weather twice an hour or when severe weather strikes on Kenosha's radio station, AM 1050 WLIP.
This is not a drill.
This is real.
Get real.
Get real with Ralph.
You are listening to Get Real with Ralph. Get Real with Ralph.
On AM 1050 WLIP.
Good evening and welcome to Get Real with Ralph. I am your humble host, Ralph Nudi, coming to you live from the studios of AM 10, Gurnee, Illinois, Kenosha, Wisconsin. And simulcast live from Kenosha to the Canary Islands and all across the world just by tuning into our YouTube channel at GetRealWithRalph.com. That's GetRealWithRalph.com.
Sky's the limit, baby. Don't you be afraid.
Are you sick of sheltering in place yet? Well, the numbers are in. If you want to go to wicovidchart.com, that's wicovidchart.com, you can see where I put together a research graph using numbers from the 4 most populated counties in Wisconsin, as well as the most populated counties in states that do not have a shelter-in-place law. We're going to talk about what I found out there. Also, Wisconsin State Representative Todd Onstadt from the 65th District is in for round 2 of our discussions about how Wisconsin should be handling this crisis. We'll have more of that interview, as well as my feedback as we go through this show. And once we're done with all the discussion, we've got a great live musical guest this evening. Actually, we have 2 great live musical guests this evening. We have Michael Boss and Georgia Ray in here playing together, and I know, before you start throwing out casting dispersions on them, just know this. They're in the same household, ladies and gentlemen, so they're going to be social distanced from each other and 6 feet away from yours truly. But I got to tell you, 6 feet away from a musical act like that is a great place to be. It's like a front row seat to some of the most talented people in the Midwest, if not the country. That and more, as soon as we're done with a little bit of Sky's the Limit here.
So I want you to love me, baby. She becomes me on one in the city. Two birds of a feather fly together. Sky's the limit, baby. Don't you be afraid.
Thank you for tuning in to our show. It has been a interesting couple of months here for the entire world as we continue to shelter in place and try to find our way along the wilderness. The problem is that most people, you and I, are doing that. We're trying to find our way around the wilderness and discover or learn what is the best way to deal with the threat that none of us asked for, and not one of us asked for the threat. However, in the proverbial smoke-filled back rooms of our national capital, of our state capitals, and even in some of our city halls, I think that there are people out there looking to take advantage of the situation and figure out how they can further their power. You see, ladies and gentlemen, power is addictive, and it's very difficult once you give power to people to pry that power back out of their greedy little fingers. And this crisis is like none other. As Hillary Clinton said at the beginning of this crisis, which she learned from Saul Alinsky, never let a good crisis go to waste. And that is exactly what's been happening. We have states implementing draconian rules as to what people can and cannot do in the name of public wellness, public health, in the name of saving your neighbor. You should have a problem with that. I know I do. And the problem that I have with that isn't that I care about my neighbor or my father or my friend's parents or grandparents or anybody else that is deemed to be at high risk of dying of this disease. Because let's face it, this is a deadly disease and there are people dying. If we are to believe the numbers, and let's go with the assumption that we have already had more deaths from COVID-19 than we had for the entire 15 years of the Vietnam War. That's a very sobering number. The problem comes in when people start to question the tactics we are using to save lives and whether or not they're actually working. Our country is becoming politically polarized even on this public health issue, and it's disgusting. Far be it for you or I to question the tactics our government is implementing, because if you do, the thought police are out there, and the thought police aren't the government necessarily. The thought police are the people that have been manipulated by Google, manipulated by Facebook, manipulated by the news media, scared to death. And as soon as you start questioning whether or not being stuck inside your home, not being able to communicate with the outside world, not being able to make a living, not being able to enjoy things with your family, as soon as you start questioning the wisdom of those policies, you're told that you are selfish. You are told that you don't care about your neighbor, that you don't care about your parents, that you don't care about your friends' parents. You're told that you're stupid. We're not stupid. The people of this country are far from stupid. We may be undisciplined. We may be the most undisciplined country in the world. Guess what? That's what makes us amazing. That's what makes us America. The fact that we have free thought still in this country. And it doesn't matter how much the news media, it doesn't matter how much YouTube, Google, Facebook try to manipulate what you're seeing. We at our core are free beings. That's what we want to be. We want to be healthy. We want to be safe, but we want to be free. When your government starts telling you it's not safe to go outside, it's not safe to work, it's not safe to go about your ordinary life the way that you've went about it your whole life, you need to be very skeptical and ask questions. That doesn't mean don't cooperate. That doesn't mean stop caring, and that doesn't mean be selfish. It means ask important questions, ask smart questions. And by smart questions, I mean questions that help you further your knowledge. There's no such thing as a dumb question, except for a rhetorical question where you're trying to be a smart aleck, but that's a whole different story. Ask smart questions. If you go to wicovidchart.com, what you'll find is a graph and some data that should have you not knowing the answers, because I don't know the answers either, but it certainly should make you scratch your head and have you ask more questions. And the questions that I asked Todd Onstad earlier, and we're going to play that interview, and that I'd like to ask all of our leaders. And the question that I really want a straight answer from is, why is it that states that don't have a shelter-in-place law have a lower death rate, have less people dying of COVID-19 than states that do? Now, some of the arguments that I got today were about case rates and that they're not testing enough people and therefore they're not showing as many cases. And I can concede that that might be the case. I read 3 articles on 3 separate occasions about 3 different places that are doing widespread testing. One of them in a homeless shelter, one of them in a prison system, and one of them in the general population of a city. I'm sorry, 4. And the 4th one, all the employees of a Smithfield meat plant. And all 4 of those widespread testings had one thing in common when it came to the data. Far more people are infected than we're being told when we're only testing sick people. Not only that, but 95% of people who are infected with COVID-19 are asymptomatic. That means they are not sick. They're spreading it, and but they're not sick. 95%. So when you turn on the news and you get all that scare porn out there that's showing you all these people that are dying and the high percentage of people who are getting infected with it are dying, the numbers are wrong. If I give you a fraction, 1/2 is a fraction. 2 people are tested with a virus and are found to be positive, and one of them dies, and I'm telling you half of this virus die. And I'm using numbers for simplicity's sake. But I've only tested 2 people because they were sick. And then I go back and I test that entire population, whether it be a school, a jail, a workplace, or a community. And I find out that instead of 2 people having it, 2,000 people have it in that same population. We no longer have a 50% death rate. We now have a 1 in 2,000 death rate. But not testing doesn't make that death rate higher. It just means that we have bad data. So as we start doing widespread testing, we know that the denominator is wrong. We're not getting revised numbers the way that we should. As a matter of fact, we're being told, after initially being told that we needed a shelter in place to flatten the curve, you now have people like the California governor saying he is planning on keeping his state sheltering in place until a vaccine is found, until this thing can be managed and cured. We don't even have a vaccine for the common cold yet. We've been told for years that we're going to have a vaccine for AIDS. We don't have a vaccine for AIDS yet. But we're told that they're going to fast track a vaccine for this and start sticking it in everybody's arms. Everybody's arms, when 95% of the people that get sick with this are asymptomatic. A vaccine that will have been in existence for 6 months, 8 months, a year at the very most before they start introducing it into us. You have to wonder, does that make sense? Now, I have a lot of friends and a lot of acquaintances who have different political views than I do. That is what makes our country an amazing place. But what's going on right now isn't conservative versus liberal. It's not Democrat versus Republican. This is powerful versus the weak. When you look at what's going on, you have to scratch your head a little further because it's completely safe, according to my government, at least they're allowing me, to walk into Target, to walk into Walmart and buy a pair of pants and buy a shirt. But I live in Kenosha, Wisconsin. What if I want to walk into Mike Bjorn's Fine Clothing or I want to walk into S.J. Crystal's downtown and do the same thing? Is it less safe for me to do that? Is it less safe for me to walk into a place that probably has 10 customers a day than a place that has thousands of customers a day all going and sharing germs? How is that saving lives? How is that not costing lives? The data is wrong. That's the bottom line. We need to check the data. We need to research the data. We need to start demanding answers from our government. And when we do so, we don't need for large corporations that have been given exemptions by our federal government for being responsible for what's being said on their platform to start censoring speech that they disagree with, picking speech that they do agree with, and still maintaining those exemptions. That's not right. The First Amendment, a free press, freedom of people to assemble, freedom of people to speak out and ask questions of the government, and freedom to exercise their religion, that is what makes this country great. But do you know what I heard earlier this week? I heard from the son of immigrants, and I'm a descendant of immigrants. I heard from a first-generation American that our Constitution might need to be revisited and that it is an antiquated document. Buddy, your parents came to this country for that document. They came to this country for a way of life that document has laid out a roadmap for over 200 years. And at the risk of sounding mean, if you don't like that document, maybe you need to talk to your parents about sending you back to the place that didn't have it. That has nothing to do with your ethnicity. That has to do with your belief. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what language you speak. I don't care what language your parents spoke. And I don't care what God you pray to, because we all have one. And if we don't have one, we have the absence of one. Same thing. But this document, the Constitution of the United States, is what makes us free and what makes us a great nation. And if our First Amendment is infringed upon, if our First Amendment is taken away from us, it is taken away from all of us, liberal and conservative. I have a lot of friends who are way farther left than I am. You know what? They have the right to be that way. But if you start handing this country over to the fascists, the socialists, it'll only be a matter of time before they come for you next. No matter how left of center you think you are. And if we don't have a First Amendment, the only thing left protecting us from an oppressive government is a Second Amendment. And the last thing that we need is people needing to resort to the Second Amendment to protect their freedoms, because that means violence. That is not the America that I want to be in. I want to be in one where we can speak up, speak our mind, disagree with each other, find common ground, and find a way to solve our problems. That's the country I was born in. That's the country that is the greatest in the history of mankind. And with that, I'm going to get to this interview with State Representative Todd Onstott from the 65th District of the Wisconsin Assembly. And once again with us, we have Wisconsin State Legislature 65th Assembly District Representative Todd Onstott with us, who has promised to come on from time to time and keep us abreast of the situation in Madison and what the state legislature is doing to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic as well as the economic response. Todd, thank you. Welcome back to the program. How are you?
Good. Thanks, Ralph. And once again, thanks for having me on.
Well, I'm glad you're here, Todd. You know, it takes courage to come on a show where you know that the host doesn't necessarily agree with you philosophically on every issue. But I think it's important that we demonstrate how our community isn't about partisanship, but it's about people. And Todd, I think that besides the fact that you and I respect and like each other personally, you're an honest man who cares about our community and is courageous to be willing to answer tough questions.
Well, the most courageous part about this for me is the technology to make sure that that I'm actually on. And what a dull world we would be living in if everybody agreed on everything, everything that there is to think about.
Well, people end up agreeing on things later on after the fact. Isn't that how that works? They say history is a lie agreed upon.
Sure.
I did a video earlier this week, and I released some numbers, and I'm going to see if I can find them. All right, here it is. Can you see that chart in front of you, Tom?
I can.
Okay. And here's what I did. I took the most populated counties in Wisconsin: Milwaukee, Brown, Dane, Kenosha, the four most populated, and then I compared them to the most populated counties of other states that don't have a shelter-in-place law in effect right now. And, you know, I know that there's the apples to oranges comparison that we're talking about less populated states. So I wanted to level the playing field that way as much as possible. And some numbers struck me here. I charted them all. And when you look at the chart here, you'll notice that, okay, the first one is Milwaukee County, second is Brown, third is Dane, fourth is Kenosha. And then fourth is Salt Lake County, which is 1.1 million people. Then you have Oklahoma and Tulsa counties, which have between 400,000 and 500,000 people. Utah County, which is about 300,000, all the way down to a county in Wyoming and a county in South Dakota. And what I noticed, with the exception of the outlier in Minnehaha County, South Dakota, which is on the far right side of the screen, what I noticed is on average that the most populated counties in the states that don't have shelter-in-place laws aren't better than what we're seeing in Wisconsin. In fact, in some cases, they're worse. Also last week were the two doctors from Bakersfield, California. I don't know if you saw the video or saw clips of it and the information about how it had gotten removed from YouTube. But these doctors said some things that made sense and would line up with this about how sheltering in place really can have some negative effects on your immune system. And they're going to make it even harder when a second wave comes out. If you come out of that situation and then the virus reignites, that you actually will end up with more deaths than not. And so I'm looking at this, and this makes a lot of sense to me, except for in the Minnehaha County. And one of the most important things I think when you're going to share data is being intellectually honest when you have data that doesn't line up with your theory. And so then you have to either leave the data in there and explain the anomaly or accept the fact that maybe you're possibly wrong. And I think we're all wrong from time to time. But then I found out Minnehaha County, South Dakota is right near where the Smithfield plant is, and most of the residents live there. And after the outbreak at the Smithfield plant, they tested everybody there. So you have more positives because they're testing healthy people, same as maybe the article you saw about the prison system in Ohio, where they tested 3,000 people, or the nursing home in Boston, where you have 95% of the people asymptomatic. So with that in mind, is this data that you think is being considered when we're deciding what to do here in Wisconsin?
Well, I know designee Paul are certainly analyzing data all day, pretty much every day. And unfortunately, the data that I think you said was the case on Wednesday, where Kenosha was number 4. We have now surpassed Dane County, and we're number 3. And just to
I'm
show
talking
you
about population. We're number 4. I took
okay.
Populated. No, we are higher. We're higher here than Dane. You can see our cases per 100,000. We're in the 20s as of Wednesday, and Dane's was 7.63.
Well, let me tell you what the numbers were on Friday, and then I'll compare them to what the numbers are today.
Okay.
On Friday, I gave a report, and on that day there was 6,854 positive cases in the state.
Okay.
And now today, reporting out, there was 7,964. We went from 316 deaths to 339. In terms of the Kenosha numbers, last Friday, there were 391 reported cases, and now there is 534.
Okay.
We went from 12 deaths to 14 deaths. And you brought up Smithfield, and certainly you can look pretty much all over the country and look at where their meatpacking plants are, and frequently, unfortunately, see a big spike.
Yes.
I saw a segment on TV last week in Iowa County, kind of in the middle of Iowa.
Correct.
And 10% of the population of that county had actually tested positive. Can you imagine 10%?
Yes,
so
tested
certainly-
positive, and that's because they're having widespread testing there.
Well, I certainly don't think that we have 10% in Kenosha. I certainly hope not. We have 20% apparently in the Kenosha County Correctional Facility, and
Right.
I'd like to thank the National Guard for coming in and doing the testing there. And there was also five different people who work in the prison there that had tested positive as well.
But there's some good news with that, Todd, and I think the good news is getting missed. And you said you hope that the Kenosha rate isn't higher. But the good news would be if the rate is higher, that it falls in line with anywhere where you test an entire population instead of just people with symptoms. You're finding that there's 10 times more people that are infected than are presenting symptoms. As a matter of fact, 95% of all people infected when they test an entire population are completely asymptomatic. So when you take the number of, and this chart kind of makes my point with that. What I had to do in order to make this chart work is the blue lines are cases per 10,000 and the red lines are deaths per 100,000. And I had to jump that to deaths per 100 to even get the red lines to show up on the charts because they're so small. And this is with confirmed cases. And this is deaths per 100,000 people living there, not per case. So it's not a case fatality rate. But the case fatality rate is much, much, much lower if there's more people infected than we realize.
Nevertheless, we have gone from, I think that when we talked last week, if I'm not mistaken, I think that the number was somewhere in the neighborhood of like 52, 53. Don't quote me on that. I'm talking about confirmed deaths in the United States. The number of confirmed deaths now has gone past 65,000. So
that is not an insignificant number, and by any stretch of the imagination, that's a lot of. That's a lot. There are a lot of people dying from this.
And I think that some of the time will tell in the next few weeks, where a lot of states, for example, Georgia, that just one of the first states to reopen, one of the last two close up, and one of the first states to reopen. And in fact, if you remember, the governor of Georgia was surprised and announced that he hadn't known at that point, when the day that he closed very late, that the majority of people were unsymptomatic, as you suggested.
Correct.
And that was why one of the reasons why he cited as actually time. So now they're reopening. So I think that some interesting data will be just how big the spike is, and nobody seems to disagree that once you reopen, that you will have a spike. The question is how big, and hopefully it's not big, but I'm afraid that it might be.
But if that's the case, how do you explain like Salt Lake County, Utah, 1.1 million people, significantly more people than Milwaukee, never has a shelter-in-place law in effect, and yet their cases per 10,000 and are lower, much lower, and their deaths per 100,000 are a little bit lower. Milwaukee at 18.4 and Salt Lake County, Utah at about 15. So how do you explain the anomaly that all of these other Salt Lake, Oklahoma County, Oklahoma, Tulsa County, Oklahoma, Utah County, Utah, all of those are smaller than Milwaukee but bigger than Kenosha? They all have lower or similar case numbers without any of this in place. Do you see that kind of data as being problematic with the theory that keeping everybody home and scared is actually making a difference and saving lives?
I think that you'd have to look at a lot of different things other than what you're just posting there. I think that you'd have to look at how much testing has been done. Wisconsin has actually started to ramp up the amount of testing.
Sure, and that's going to make our blue lines increase. That's going to make our blue lines increase as we ramp up testing, because we're going to start testing asymptomatic people. But it's not necessarily going to make our red line increase, because these people already have it now and they're not dying. Testing them isn't going to make them die from it. So we're going to have more data on how many people are infected, which is a good thing. I think that's the thing that we've all been missing, and that's a really good thing. But how that data gets interpreted scares me, because if suddenly we report it as a spike in cases when really it's a spike in people we've confirmed have it, that have had it all along and are asymptomatic, are we shooting ourselves in the foot?
No, the governor has always said that what we should be looking at is the percentage of people that we're finding to be positive, a percentage of those people compared to the number of people that we're testing. And the other part of testing that is really, really important in terms of making sure that we actually get a hold of this virus is we need to test and we need to track. We need to make sure that when we find out that somebody's positive, be they at the Kenosha County facility or in Darien where they had an outbreak at the Bird's Eye factory, or somebody in, wherever we find somebody who's testing positive, we have to make sure we have to go back and figure out who that person has been in contact with.
Sure, you have to do all the contact tracing.
And the contact tracing is significantly ramping up. A couple of weeks ago, the program was kind of put together, and the governor has said that he would like to have 1,000 people in place. I'm not sure what that number is now, people who are actually tracking all of the people who have been in contact with somebody who is shown to be positive. Those are the people that we have to make sure are actually quarantined.
Correct.
If you've been in contact with somebody, you really need to you need to really stay at home.
I think I think that's going to be a much more surgical approach.
Yep.
And that is probably the smartest thing that we can do. Until that happens, how do you explain the discrepancies in the death rates between us and states that aren't putting their businesses out of business, though? I guess that's the question that I still really feel that people in this area want to know the answer to. How is it that there are less deaths in states that are similar populations but aren't sheltering in place? Are they doing a better job at testing and contact tracing than we are?
Or maybe no job at testing at all. I'm not sure. There's too many.
Well, but the testing accounts for the blue line.
That we don't know. Too many questions that we don't know in terms of comparing Tulsa to Milwaukee.
Right, and the blue line
Tulsa
explains the number of cases, and I get that, but the red line is just straight number of deaths.
There's a lot of data that I would have to look at before I give you an answer to that. Let me just tell you a little bit about one of the committees that I serve on in the state assembly is the State Affairs Committee. And we had an interesting hearing on Thursday where we heard from Wisconsin Manufacturers Corporation and a number of other people, the Restaurant Association, the Tavern League, the Hotel and Lodging Association, the dairy industry, and others. And of course, this was in support of the WMC wants to get back to business. There's no question about that. And
yes,
there are some things in the WMC plan that make sense in terms of trying to figure out exactly where the problem lies, in terms of different regions in the state, although we certainly have a pretty good idea that it is expanding. And the bad thing about the virus is it doesn't respect county lines. We know that just now. I think that there's only 2 that don't have it, but certainly there are
sure,
a lot of counties that have a lot less than what we do.
Sure.
And so they are obviously in favor of a regional approach, and they are also in favor of opening now. And I think that opening now is a little bit premature when looking at the numbers just between Friday and today, both in Kenosha and statewide. It's obvious that we're kind of in the middle of a spike.
I concede the fact. I think everybody concedes the fact that the numbers are growing and we have more cases.
Yep.
What people want to know is, where is there any data whatsoever that tells us that staying at home is actually making a difference when there are areas that aren't doing it that have the same or lower numbers than us? And if we don't have any hard data that proves that what we're doing is working, even though we might not have enough data proves that it isn't working, if we can't prove completely that it isn't working, how long can we go on telling people that they don't have the right to run their businesses or leave their homes or do the things that make us free as individuals? And on top of that, another really important question, and I'll let you get to both, and I'll give you some time, is scientifically, how can you tell me that it's healthy or that it's acceptable or that it's not unsafe for me to walk into, say, Target or Walmart to buy a pair of pants, but I can't walk into Mike Bjorn's where there probably be a lot less people present in the first place and do the exact same thing. So what we're doing is we're taking corporate America, the people that we all say is evil and we all hate no matter what party we're in, and we're giving them all of our money, and we're putting our mom and pop places out of business with no real hard data. And I think that that's the question that you have to answer. So people like Brett Bjorn, why does he have to stay home and keep his business closed and sacrificed while Walmart keeps theirs open?
Let me just go back to what you had said earlier. Certainly, there are a lot of epidemiologists in the country that say there's no question that's staying in place, staying at home is a lot safer. I could line up a dozen doctors to your dozen doctors and epidemiologists in terms of what they believe to be.
But we have
true.
we have a 50 state experiment going on right now that shows different numbers. Why is nobody?
And
Why does everybody just say, "Well, we don't know the numbers for sure"? Why is nobody zeroing in on those numbers and saying, "Hey, there is some data here that's useful, some data points," instead of being on one side or the other side of what's becoming a partisan fight?
But Ralph, what obviously is the case that our numbers are going up, and we are in the middle of a spike both in the state and in Kenosha.
But Utah's numbers are not going up. They're not sheltering in place. You see what I'm saying? The fact the numbers are going up, and I can see that, isn't the argument. The argument is sheltering in place changing that curve when you can look at other places like Salt Lake County, which has 1.1 million people, so quite a bit bigger than Milwaukee County even, and yet their numbers aren't going up at the rate that ours are.
I'm not sure exactly what explains that. As I said earlier, I don't know if they've done any testing or what their level of testing has been. There's a lot of data there. There's a lot of data.
You can't change death rate. You can change testing and numbers of infected. You can't change death rates unless you're asking doctors to call something COVID that isn't, which the Bakersfield doctors certainly in their interviews said was happening to them as well as other doctors. So, but other than that, you really can't manipulate the number of deaths. Testing doesn't change that. So even if we were to assume that we're testing more so we have a higher number, and that would be a good assumption, all right, that doesn't change the fact that they're not losing as many people.
Wisconsin is known to have a very, we're an older state. So first of all, so maybe the demographic is part of it.
That's a fair answer. That's a fair answer.
And we also know that people who are in kind of a cramped area are having a lot higher percentage and also higher death rate. True with African Americans.
So if you're sheltering in place and you live in an apartment complex, you may have been better off going outside.
Maybe they're not sheltering in place. I'm not sure of that. Let's go back to the question about businesses.
Yeah.
And certainly, Brett's a good friend of mine. Willie, as we were before you opened up with the Oriental Inn, and I'm glad to hear that he may be opening up soon. Those are great friends of mine, great businessmen. And I was pleased to see that the governor kind of made some moves in terms of opening up some businesses last week.
Yes.
And I was glad to see that Torcaso shoe store will be opening up tomorrow.
Yes, we're going the right direction from where we were. I can see that. I just hope that we can push.
And I'm glad that Common Grounds Coffee Shop, I coffee on the side.
Yeah.
So I think that, and also of course the state parks were reopened.
Yeah.
So I think that there is a direction, and there's a lot of data that people with a lot more understanding of this whole situation than you or I that are looking at all of these things, and I just got to believe that at the end of the day that we will be a lot better off staying at home as much as we can until this breaks, and we may be very well in the middle of this spike right now. It was initially thought to be sometime in May, late May, so maybe we're in it now, maybe it gets worse, maybe it tapers off. I certainly hope that it begins to taper off. But I got to say that we don't want to, and you really have to thread the needle on this one. We don't, on the one hand, we don't want to open 1 minute too early, and on the other hand, we certainly don't want to open 1 minute later than what we have to. And I think that the governor is moving in the right direction in terms of looking at places that he can do something different, start opening this economy up safely. There was a lot of good ideas at the 7-hour not public hearing, but informational hearing last week in terms of what restaurants think that they can do to make the dining experience safe and sound, what the Tavern League thinks. And I'm sure all of this is going to be taken into consideration as we move towards a safe, a safe retail experience.
I know you used to be in city government, and you're not in city government now, but obviously
Yep.
you know people who are. What do you
Sure.
think of cities relaxing their walking down the street open container policies so that you maybe can walk up to some of those corner bars in downtown areas at least and grab a cup like this and socialize 6 feet away from your friends with your masks at least over the course of the summer? Do you see something like that being a possibility?
I was in favor of that before the virus, and I'm certainly
Amen.
in favor, and I'm certainly in favor of it now. And I'm pleased to have been on the city council that actually allow the tables to come outside the taverns, to allow people to enjoy a beer or a cocktail on the outside of a tavern. So I certainly think that that's something that could be looked at. Another thing that the Tavern League asked us to take a look at, and I have since communicated with the governor's office on that, is for areas that have like an outside seating area. Maybe that's the first step. Tavern League thought that that would give tavern owners some confidence that we were moving in a direction that would be helpful. So there are a million things on the table. I did talk to the governor's office liaison this weekend about the Tavern League's testimony from last Thursday. And, I'm certainly one that, thinks that small business obviously is the backbone of our economy. And I think that we have to take a good look at, and, thankfully, on the one hand, it's a great thing, the number of Wisconsin businesses that did get the recent set of loans.
Correct.
On the over one.
There's a lot of strings attached to those loans that people don't understand, though.
It is a nightmare. It is a bureaucratic nightmare that that they send to us.
One of the restaurateurs told me that they have to keep the same payrolls they had a year ago and pay it all out in payroll. And now they have these employees are home and they're finally starting to get their unemployment check plus that additional amount that they're getting because of it being COVID related. They're actually making more money at home than they were working. So, we could be causing a bigger problem long term, and that's why obviously we want to get everybody back to work and back to operating their businesses sooner rather than later.
Yep, I couldn't agree more with sooner than later. I just got to say that I'd like to remind everybody once again that I do a COVID report every week. Anybody who wants to sign up to get my e-newsletter, we're concentrating on the COVID right now. Of course, I think this will be the 6th or 7th week in a row that we've done kind of a full report in terms of what's going on in the state. And if I could give you a couple numbers, people that by just calling and requesting to be on my e-newsletter list. It's 608-266-0455, or email me at rep.onstad, that's OHNSTAD, at legis.wi.gov, G-O-V.
I'll make sure that I put that on the video here and on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel in the comments. So if you're listening to this on the radio, and pull up today's episode, or you can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Ralph Nudi. You'll see today's interview. You can rewatch it because Todd's an engaging person, and you can get all of this.
It's not worth watching me as a rerun, Ralph.
Oh.
Come on now.
Well, maybe they tuned in and only caught part of it, and they want to catch the exciting back and forth between us. There were fireworks earlier if you didn't hear them.
Oh, that's okay.
In all sincerity, Todd, I know how much you care about the people in southeastern Wisconsin. I care about the people in southeastern Wisconsin.
Of course.
This is a small community and we're all friends. And I appreciate you coming on here. I appreciate you being in the hot seat a little bit. And
that's okay.
I know that at the end of the day that you really do care about these people the same as I do. So I can never accuse you of being someone who just doesn't care about the people. I know that you do. And I hope that maybe some of this back and forth can help you to continue to be the voice of reason that I think you've been all along.
Well, I appreciate that. And I appreciate, the opportunity to come on to your show. And let me close the same way I did last week. And that is, we know that this is tough on a lot of people. It's tough not being able to see your friends and your relatives and just the normal life that we become used to. And a lot of people, deal with that differently than others. So I would just like to leave the crisis hotline number for anybody out there who's having a tough time. Please call 1-800-985-5990. And I got a feeling we'll probably have something to talk about again next week, Ralph.
We will, and hopefully I'll have some updates for you that are pretty good for the community as well. So, Todd, once again, thank you. Have a great rest of your weekend, and look forward to talking to you again next week.
Okay, take care, Ralph. Thanks again.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
And that was Wisconsin State Assemblyman Todd Onstadt from the 65th Assembly District, representing Kenosha, Wisconsin. And we did that interview a little bit earlier today. We're gonna have a little fun when we come back. We're gonna get Jim Celovich to dial in via Zoom and tell us what's going on with him. And then, of course, we have our fantastic musical guests, Michael Boss and the wonderful Georgia Ray, and they've been making some beautiful music together in quarantine, and we're going to talk to them about that as well after the break.
Live and local, Kenosha's radio station, AM 1050 WLIP. We report the news and we talk about the news on air at AM 1050, online at WLIP.com, Facebook and Twitter.
Do your company vehicles need an attitude adjustment? Bufflin in Union Grove can turn your vehicles into moving billboards. From full vehicle wraps and fleet lettering to signs, banners, and graphic design, Bufflin in Union Grove makes advertising your business easy. Just take pictures of your vehicle and send it to them. Then they'll digitally superimpose the wrap or logo right on your vehicle so you can see what it'll look like. The whole design can be done through email, so you don't have to leave the house. Check out Bufflin at VehicleWrapsWisconsin.com. That's VehicleWrapsWisconsin.com.
Are you looking for the hottest places to have a dinner date or the coolest places to grab a drink and appetizers with friends? Well, 262 Eats has it all. 262 Eats is a local food show that features the best the area has to offer. Watch Ralph Nudi as he samples the food, interviews the owners, and takes you inside and behind the scenes of the favorite places of locals and travelers alike. Be sure to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel to win prizes, gift certificates, and get special discount offers. That's 262 Eats.
Monday morning, Wake Up Kenosha with Bill and Pete.
Joined by State Senator Bob Werch, Paul Francetic from Don't Get Frantic Saturdays here on WLIP, Steve Casey along from Casey Family Options with One Man's Opinion, and of course, we'll crosstalk with Lenny. Plus, we get you caught up on all of the headlines of the day and the latest weather forecast, too.
Wake Up Kenosha with Bill and Pete from 5 to 8 a.m. Live and local, AM 1050 WLIP. AM 1050 WLIP, Kenosha County Radar Weather. Brought to you by
Mason's Eatery and Pub. To place an order for curbside pickup or delivery, call 925-3330 or go to Mason's, just west of Green Bay Road on Highway 50, Kenosha.
Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 38. Then tomorrow, Monday, increasing clouds with a high near 47. Monday night, 30% chance of showers late and a low of 39. Then Tuesday, mostly cloudy with a 50% chance of showers and a high near 51. Weather twice an hour or when severe weather strikes on Kenosha's radio station, AM 1050 WLIP.
Not a drill.
This is real.
Get real.
Get real with Ralph.
You are listening to Get Real with Ralph. Get Real with Ralph.
On AM 1050 WLIP.
And we're back here, AM 1050 WLIP. Your host, Ralph Nudi. You're listening to Get Real with Ralph. And we are broadcasting live from the studios in Gurnee, Illinois, looking out at the abandoned Gurnee Mills Mall. The only thing we see is this Paul Blart wannabe that keeps driving past. You know, he used to go past in a Segway, but all of a sudden the last couple of days, I've been seeing him go by in a golf cart that's meant for about 8 people, but he's the only dude in it, and I can't figure out why. And so, we're trying to figure that one out because that's still a mystery to me. And also, we have here in the studio with us, I'm going to have them say hi real quick before they start playing music. We've got the lovely Georgia Ray and Michael Boss, who they're both multiple guests on here. Hey, guys, welcome to the program.
Hey, what's up?
We got to turn you up. There you go. What's up? And, of course, we have Jim Celovich, who is joining us via Zoom. Hey, Jimmy, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
am I on the air?
Jim's here.
You are live and on the air. You're like a professional calling guest here.
Well, I'm doing great. Day 46.
Is that what day it is?
Day 46.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Went for a nice 4-mile walk yesterday.
Ooh.
And I got Zoom drunk. I got Zoom drunk last night with some comedian friends from Milwaukee.
Nice.
And, I'm telling you what, Zoom drunk is a lot worse than actually just hanging out and getting drunk.
Because you're in your home and you don't have to worry about driving home, huh?
Yes, you don't have to drive.
So you get more drunk than if you were to be going out with your friends.
Yeah. I can barely hear her. Hi guys.
Hey, what's up?
You can barely hear them. I can hear them fine.
Michael,
I'm
I can't
trying to get
see you, but I'm sure
Hey.
I'm sure you're looking wonderful as always.
You may have to
Wait,
tune
can
in.
you see us here?
Can Jim see you?
Yeah.
Oh, if he's on the YouTube stream, which I don't think Jim can operate like more than one computer at a time. Can you, Jim?
I'm an old man. I'm an old man with a computer.
He's an old man with a computer. I don't know. You know, I'm starting to catch up to Jim on how to operate this board here. I don't know if you noticed, but it's like I'm starting to be able to drive the spaceship all by myself.
It sure is like driving a spaceship.
I got to figure out where this echo's coming from. Hold on a minute.
You're doing good. You're doing good, Ralphie. I'm at day 46. Like I said before, everything was fine. Everything's healthy. Just hopefully get a job soon. But I've been working on some ideas. Working on I know, Ralph, I talked to you a little bit about it. Don't want to let the cat out of the bag quite yet. But I'm in writing right now a new series for the web series news show. So that's I'm kind of really excited about that, and just working on a couple script ideas that I've been tossing around for the past couple of years, and finally got a chance to sit down and do some writing and just doing some fun stuff, you know. And you know, people who know me know I've been social distancing for years, so I'm okay with all this. I'm fine.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
But so how's everybody else? Ralphie, how's your week been? What's going on, you Ralph?
Well, you know, my week's been pretty amazing. Other than this echo behind me, just stand by.
Yeah, the echo. I don't know if you got the phone going through. You got something going through on the board that is making it echo.
Something's going through twice. Don't know what it is. Oh,
yeah.
Actually, I do know.
Maybe your laptop's too loud.
No, you know what? I just figured this out. Hold on here.
But anyways, I just feel like I'm babbling now. That's okay, because that's what you do when you're like, you know, self-quarantined. You babble. So I've had a lot of time to frankly, I'm scared.
Well, you know,
I'm scared.
I heard a joke and
with my thoughts.
I heard a joke about and reminded me of your thoughts and being alone in quarantine, and I think it's quarantine.
Talk whatever you want. Are you still getting the echo?
No, it's gone. It's all gone. Can you hear me now? The problem is now that the echo's gone, Jimmy can't hear me anymore.
Hey, Ralph.
But the audience can. We know what's going on here with Jimmy here. We have to go like this. Jimmy, you can hear me now, can't you?
I can hear you now.
All right. Yeah, it's been this back and forth. What to do with it?
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'm going to sign off for now. Then you guys have yourself a great show.
Wait! I've got a joke though. I've got a joke first that I need to run by you here. See, because you've been talking about all this loneliness that you got going on.
I'm writing. I'm writing.
Well, you're writing jokes.
A lot of jokes too.
But this is a quarantine joke for Jim Celovich.
All right.
All right. So if three people getting it on is a threesome, and two people getting it on is a twosome,
of course,
and two people getting on is a twosome. What do you call Jim Celovich? What do you call Jim Celovich in quarantine?
Lonesome.
Handsome.
I don't know. What?
Handsome.
Have a good night, Jim.
I like that.
Have a good night, Jim. And with that, we're gonna get on with some music.
All right. So So I'm gonna cut you. I'm gonna cut you. There's no more echo. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no echo, so I can hang out till top of the hour if you want.
You certainly can. We can hear you. You just can't hear us.
What else is going on? Let's see. Just been doing a lot of. I'm reading more.
Cue the warm-up music, guys.
Which is a little because I don't read at all. So that's a good thing. Currently, green eggs and ham is my jam.
I love it. I love
it. That's a classic, and it's a good one. I want to start with the classics, so that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just starting with the Dr. Seuss, work my way up to highlight magazines. I'm reading a lot of highlight magazines. Trying to work on my my stuff.
I remember reading those highlight magazines at the doctor's office when I was a kid.
Yeah, dentist's office always. You're always at the dentist
for sure.
But so I've been doing a lot of reading and showering. A shower. I shaved since last week. Had to get rid of that beard and shave my head, which is great. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of shaving and showering. I clipped my toenails the other day. That was interesting. Fingernails. I'm playing a few more chords on my guitar. I've been strumming around a little bit with that. Just trying to stay sane. It is day 46. Yeah, 46. Day 46. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I've met my neighbors.
Wonderfully
I've
lonely
never seen my neighbor before.
Jim Celovich.
I've never met some of my neighbors before. They're pretty annoying. They're pretty annoying. A couple of them are really annoying. Just got to say it. I mean, I was better off they look like. They're annoying.
Hey Jim.
But yeah, go ahead.
How bad are these neighbors? Let's hear it.
The echo is killing me. The echo is killing me when you talk to me.
Well, so your face is killing me while I'm talking to you, so that makes two of us, pal.
I have this neighbor has a dog, and all that dog does is bark. Yap, 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 yap. And I'm really tired of it, and I'm thinking by day, let's see, 49, few days from now, I may be doing that what they did on Seinfeld, is when they kidnapped the dog and drove him out to a farm. So that's kind of where I'm at. So look for the show that I'm putting together. Ralph, you're going to be a part of it.
I am certainly going to be a part of it, and I'm looking forward to it. Jim, we're gonna cut you short because I can't talk back to you with the echo, and I've got this lovely couple here.
That's fine. I'll just ramble on.
You ramble on, and they're gonna play.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys later. You guys are beautiful. Take care, and everyone be safe. Wash your hands. Clip your toenails.
You wash everything too, Jim. Thank you. And that was Jim Celovich, ladies and gentlemen, who seems to be getting a little stir-crazy back there in K-Town with his K-Town hat. But he's looking pretty good, so that's a good thing. All right, you guys are back on when those little lights are on. Tell us a little bit about what the two of you have been doing in quarantine here before we go into this top-of-the-hour break, which is in about a minute.
Playing.
Finding inspiration.
Writing new stuff.
Yes.
All right. Well, why don't you get warmed up and take us into the break with a little instrumental. When we come back out of it, then we'll just go into whatever song it was you started with, because you got about a minute, and I don't want to waste one more minute not hearing your music.
WLIP.com. This is Lenny.
Yeah, this is So What?
And Lenny loves Italian words.
I love Italian words. I love everything Italian.
So WLIP is giving you a chance to win $1,000 18 times a day, 5 days a week with Lenny's favorite Italian words.
Why am I doing this? My time is valuable.
All contest info is at WLIP.com. Lenny's favorite Italian words.
Am I getting paid by the word? That's a good question.
Sponsored by Francetic Tax Resolution. Don't get frantic, get Francetic. Go to 262tax.com.
Non capisco.
Paisan.
AM 1050 WLIP.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Are you looking for the hottest places to have a dinner date or the coolest places to grab a drink and appetizers with friends? Well, 262 Eats has it all. 262 Eats is a local food show that features the best the area has to offer. Watch Ralph Nudi as he samples the food, interviews the owners, and takes you inside and behind the scenes of the favorite places of locals and travelers alike. Be sure to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel to win prizes, gift certificates, and get special discount offers. That's 262 Eats.
Got something on your mind? What's really got you mad? Let's talk about it. The lip-off lines are open with Dan and Pete, live and local radio. Weekdays live at 5 on AM 1050 WLIP. AM 1050 WLIP, Kenosha County Radar Weather. Brought to you by
Good Value Pharmacy, offering free local delivery. 3 locations in Kenosha and now open in Racine. GoodValueRx.com.
Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 38. Then tomorrow, Monday, increasing clouds with a high near 47. Monday night, 30% chance of showers late and a low of 39. Then Tuesday, mostly cloudy with a 50% chance of showers and a high near 51. Weather twice an hour or when severe weather strikes on Kenosha's radio station, AM 1050 WLIP.
And we're back on Get Real with Ralph, your host, Ralph Nudi, and we have George Ray and Michael Bass. And they're going to play for us during the second hour, and then we're going to talk about what they're doing in quarantine. And with that, here they are.
Not just love when the summer sky rains all night long. Sit and watch while I stay in my car singing a new song. I'm gonna cut my teeth on another winding road up ahead. I'm gonna keep my mind and not lose my head. My friend. Oh, and just like the old days, they're pulling you both ways. Just when you wanna watch, so enjoy it before the good times lost. I can hear the howling wind through the night sky. to the end. My friends. Oh, and just like the old days, they're pulling you both ways, just when you wanna watch. So enjoy it before the good time, before the good time's lost. Oh, and just like the old days, they're pulling you both ways, just when you wanna watch. So enjoy it before the good time, before the good time's lost.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
That's new.
Fairly. That's called The Old Days.
The old days. So it's a new song about the old days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. You guys wrote that together?
Mike, that's all Mike actually.
Yeah.
It is.
It's just such a good song. I said, Mike, we gotta play that tonight.
So, have you written any songs for each other yet? Put you right on the spot.
We write some stuff together. We're working on another snail song.
Another snail song.
Yep.
That's great. So now you two, before all this happened, you started touring together, right?
Yeah, we started a band actually.
You started a separate band. So are you still doing the family band too?
Yep, I'm still doing the band as well as solo shows, but we've got this Lunar Lizard band that's really
I
coming together.
remember that's where this came in. You asked me when we were off. You said, "Didn't we appear on here together before?" And I
that's
said,
what I
"No,
thought."
you both appeared separately, but the last time you came on, you had just started the Lunar Lizards and told me about
and I
it."
was just telling you all about it, right?
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
telling me all about it. So that's why it felt like it to you, I'm guessing.
I know.
So-
And so anyway, yeah.
We've gone through some changes. New drummer and several bass players with the name that
All of this start with J.
J-O and stuff along those lines.
So is that a Lunar Lizard song there that I heard?
Yeah, we're doing it
yeah.
now with Lunar Lizard, yeah.
Awesome. Well, definitely, I want to take as much time as I can and give it to you to play music because you're amazing at it, and we've just been living under such heavy circumstances right now.
Yeah, people need to hear the
They
bright
do.
energy of the tunes.
And I try to address what's going on in the world head on because I think that it's important that we talk about it, whether or not we're doing the right thing. And maybe we are, maybe we aren't. I happen to think that we aren't. But I think that it's important that after we discuss all that we realize that whichever side of that argument that you're on, at the end of the day, we all want the same thing.
Right, totally.
And I want for my friends to be able to go play their music again and make money. I want for my friends who own restaurants and own businesses to be able to get back to work.
Totally.
And I want everybody that I know and love to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And that's a big balance of things to worry about. But part of being healthy, of course, is being mentally healthy.
Totally.
And a lot of people are cooped up, and I see a lot of musicians, though, taking to the internet and making some quarantine shows or some lockdown shows for their audiences, and I think it's a beautiful thing. And this is just an extension of that. So thank you for trekking out here, because obviously there's nothing better than live music in the studio as opposed to from home.
Yeah.
And I got my measuring stick out, and I made sure our microphones were at least 6 feet apart before we got started. And Jim is like about 30 miles from us, so that works out perfect. And I think you can hear us. If you can hear us, Jim, nod or something, scratch your nose or something like that, Jim. He wiggled his nose. That's good enough. All right, what's next, guys?
Should we? What do we?
Pimp on a Blimp.
Yeah, Pimp on a Blimp.
This is a Georgia song.
Pimp on a Blimp.
This is
All
one of
right.
the first songs I ever wrote. It's goofy. Up in the sky so high in my blimp, looking like a pimpy or looking like a shrimp. Up here in my blimp.
Deep, deep under the sea in my submarine, in the coral trees, looking for the fish with the key. Key to your soul, let's go for a stroll and visit the tadpoles, tadpoles. You're so tadpoles, tadpoles, you're so submarine in the coral trees, looking for the fish with the key to your soul. Let's go for a stroll and visit the tadpoles, tadpoles, tadpoles. You're so naive. Tadpoles, tadpoles. You're so lift off from space station. Lift off, lift off, lift off, lift off, lift off. Lift off, lift off, lift off, lift off. World domination. World domination. Lift off from space station. Lift off from space station.
Local news from Kenosha and the surrounding area is just a mouse click away. Stay informed. WLIP.com. AM 1050 WLIP, Kenosha's radio station, live and local.
Hi, this is Paul Francetic from Francetic Tax Resolution. Join me this Saturday morning from 7 till 8. We'll talk about taxes, I'll have weekly guests and giveaways, and we'll take your calls.
Don't get frantic with Paul Francetic. This Saturday morning, 7 to 8.
Sponsored by On-Site Staffing Services.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Do your company vehicles need an attitude adjustment? Bufflin in Union Grove can turn your vehicles into moving billboards. From full vehicle wraps and fleet lettering to signs, banners, and graphic design, Bufflin in Union Grove makes advertising your business easy. Just take pictures of your vehicle and send it to them. Then they'll digitally superimpose the wrap or logo right on your vehicle so you can see what it'll look like. The whole design can be done through email, so you don't have to leave the house. Check out Bufflin at VehicleWrapsWisconsin.com. That's VehicleWrapsWisconsin.com.
Are you looking for the hottest places to have a dinner date or the coolest places to grab a drink and appetizers with friends? Well, 262 Eats has it all. 262 Eats is a local food show that features the best the area has to offer. Watch Ralph Nudi as he samples the food, interviews the owners, and takes you inside and behind the scenes of the favorite places of locals and travelers alike. Be sure to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel to win prizes, gift certificates, and get special discount offers. That's 262 Eats.
Tomorrow morning, whether you love him or you love to hate him, Lenny Palmer. Weekday mornings, 8 till noon. Live in local radio. Kenosha's radio station. AM 1050 WLIP. AM 1050 WLIP, Kenosha County Radar Weather. Brought to you by
Francetic Tax Resolution. Don't get frantic, get Francetic. Delinquent taxes, bank levies, payroll tax issues? Go to 262tax.com.
Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 38. Then tomorrow, Monday, increasing clouds with a high near 47. Monday night, 30% chance of showers late and a low of 39. Then Tuesday, mostly cloudy with a 50% chance of showers and a high near 51. Weather twice an hour or when severe weather strikes on Kenosha's radio station, AM 1050 WLIP.
This is not a drill.
This is real.
Get real.
Get real with Ralph.
You are listening to Get Real with Ralph. Get Real with Ralph.
On AM 1050 WLIP.
In the dark of night, those small hours, uncertain and anxious, I need to call you.
And we're back on the air, AM 1050 WLIP, Get Real with Ralph. Your host, Ralph Nudi, in the studio with our musical guests, Michael Boss and Georgia Ray. Guys, welcome. And this has been fun so far. That bumper music there, that was a little bit of In Excess, probably before both your time, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, them because there's a documentary on everybody right now, and everybody's watching them because everybody's quarantined. But it was all about this the untimely and unfortunate death of the Australian singer of that band. But they had some good hits back in my day. Couldn't even begin to educate you on what they are this early.
Sometimes you
So,
just
yeah.
need to hear it to understand.
Yeah, and sometimes you hear it and you don't understand. But I want to go back to what I heard before we went into the break, because what you did there was amazing. So what was that called again?
That was Pimp on a Blimp.
Pimp on a Blimp. You know do you know what you guys remind me of? I feel like Johnny Cash and June Carter had a baby, and that baby went to a B-52s concert. That's what I think of when I hear that song there. I mean, that's
very nice. Thank you.
that's throwing a lot of different kinds of music out there all at once. But
yeah. You know, it's because sometimes you don't know what to write about. So you make, and that song is actually pretty deep. I mean, come on. Tadpole's taking over the world.
it was, I was a little worried about the world domination there.
I know.
It really, it jolted me back. Every song will always kind of remind you of other stuff from other periods in your life.
Of course, yeah.
And I heard that, and I just remembered the first time I heard Rock Lobster. And it kind of gave me that same really quirky, cool feeling. And so I don't, I mean that as a compliment. Every once in a while you get a song that's goofy but fun all at the same time. That was definitely one of them.
Thanks.
So I'm sure you got lots in store for us the last 40 minutes here. So I'm going to let you guys talk a little bit about what you're playing next, and go ahead and play away.
Right.
Here, 2 tunes called Jackson Got Stung by a
Shout out to
Jellyfish.
Jackson. He's listening.
Heck yeah, Jax.
Good old
And
Jackson.
Big
He
Ol'
actually
Scoot
did get stung by a jellyfish about a year ago, actually,
Where was he?
in Jamaica.
Jamaica's a beautiful place to be.
And you know, it was
good
he left.
coffee.
Remember
Miss
this,
that
Mike?
coffee.
When he left for Jamaica, and we're like, "You're gonna come back, and you're gonna have a reggae song for you. We're gonna have a reggae song to play for you."
And this is your reggae song for him?
And this is our reggae song for him.
It is.
All right. Let's take it away, guys.
Jackson got stung.
Got stung.
Stung by a jellyfish.
Jellyfish.
Jackson got stung.
Just got stung.
Stung by a jellyfish. Woo! Jackson got stung. Stung by a jellyfish. Oh, he just done got stung.
Just done got stung
by a jellyfish. Jellyfish. Woo! Woo! Super Jelly Jackson. Super Jelly Jackson. Super Jelly Jackson. He's Super Jelly Jackson.
I'll guard the door. Let the grizzly move right in. Roll down the floor to let some light in. It's such a shame the way the sun shines. The clouds of gray can and pour it all out. Then try to stand with your foot in your mouth. It's such a shame the way the sun shines. Thick clouds of gray.
Clouds of gray.
Bring in the good times. You say that it's strange, like a peg running blind. You say it's strange, only one knows and one knows I.
Woo! It is hard to do a fade out in a live radio show, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. Especially when you land on an up bow.
Yeah, and you got that
String players
mic
know.
right in your face song.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah, one of those songs was well, yeah, Jackson got stung by a jellyfish.
Loved it.
And then we went into one of Mike's tunes, Big Old Spook Spook.
Big Old Spook Spook.
Big Old Spooks. Well, Jackson must be really happy that you wrote that song for him.
Oh yeah. You know, he's a great dancer. When we're singing that song, he dances. You know it's good dancing when he points at you.
He points at you. So
like from above.
From above. Is Jackson a tall man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty tall, yeah.
Pretty tall. So he could point down at
Yeah,
all of us. Huh?
even if you're taller than him, I'm sure he'll find a way to like point down at you. It just works. It makes it work.
I've been stung by jellyfish many times.
Really?
It is no fun.
Yeah, I got tangled in his hair. He's got long flowing hair.
Ooh, that just sounds terrible. I remember getting stung on the Gulf Coast of Alabama. If you go there in late August, there are jellyfish everywhere, and that was always the month we go on family vacation when I was a kid, and I would come back with stings all over the place because I just didn't want to get out of the water.
Yeah, you don't want to.
No, but yeah, they're interesting creatures, jellyfish, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, they're on my list of why did God make those creatures?
Right?
You know, right
What
along
are
with
they?
right along with like cockroaches. And I don't know, there's definitely stranger animals than that, but just animals that are basically useless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least
yeah,
useless
totally.
to us.
Like the cuttlefish.
The cuttlefish.
I
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the cuttlefish though. He's ugly.
Yeah. Although one of my favorite in the world of sea life is the nudie branch. Have you ever seen a nudie branch?
This is real.
No, it's a real sea creature. Yeah. I mean, you'll
Does
have
it
to
look
Google
like
it.
it's nude?
It doesn't look like it's nude, and it doesn't look like any member of my family either. You know, so
Does it look like a branch?
It doesn't look like a branch. It's very.
I'm Googling this.
It's kind of starfish-ish. You know, it's just one of those.
Is it spelled like your last name?
Yes, Nudi branch, all one word. Give you something to Google there.
This is an advertisement.
Yes, I am Googling it. Oh, wow. Those things are cool looking.
Aren't they
They're
cool
like,
looking?
They're like cool underwater caterpillars, like exotic underwater caterpillars.
That's a good way of explaining it. So there you go.
They're mussel.
It's a mussel.
Oh, It means naked gills.
Naked. Well, of course, my name means naked.
Nudie branch is naked gills. Wow.
Well, there you go.
And they're gastropods, whatever that means.
I may have given you some inspiration for your next wildlife song, huh?
Nudie branch. Oh my God. Yes. We have to write a song about Nudie branch. Challenge accepted, my friend.
Challenge
I
accepted.
don't know if that was a challenge, but I'm taking it as one.
I wasn't throwing it down as a gauntlet, but I'll definitely enjoy watching what you do when you come up with something for that.
Next time we come on. Well,
So-
for this Nudie branch song.
Any other wildlife songs in your repertoire?
Oh, plenty.
Plenty.
Honestly, a whole lunar lizard show. That probably goes through all emotions. Anger, happiness, sad and goofy, laughing,
Yeah, that's
everything.
true.
All emotions are at
All
our
emotions
emotions are acceptable at a lunar lizard show.
and wildlife.
And well, yeah. I mean, the wildlife influences your moods. So the
Gotcha.
wildlife that you
So
write
give me,
about.
So
right
give me the wildlife that's associated with angry, for example.
an alcoholic flying squirrel.
Yeah.
And you have a song for that.
Actually, it sounds more happy right now, so
You have a song for an alcoholic flying
we're
squirrel.
working on it. Yeah.
It's
bear.
like you could
I
say
would
there's
go
an
with
app
bear.
for that, or you could say Lunar Lizards has a song for that. Apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Gotcha. What about Confused? Do you have any Confused songs?
Probably Merlin. Merlin the snail.
Merlin the snail.
All right, let's hear Merlin the Snail. I want to hear what confusion sounds like in the Lunar
Should we
Lizard
play that
household.
Is it
I don't know
alright?
how. Can we sing about?
You can sing about whatever you want.
We're in
You're
Illinois
the
now.
guests.
We're in Illinois where it's legal.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Huh. They're gonna sing about being in Illinois where it's legal, guys.
I'm just a snail on the trail. My name is Merlin. I took a hit off that joint and now I'm twirling. I really hate waking up so dang early. A little waking bake won't hurt when your job is boring. Oh man! Oh man. Oh man, woo! Wow. The freight train's gotta go down the line.
Down the line.
And it's my job to grease it in time.
Grease it in time.
But like I said, I hit that joint and now I'm too high. And now the sun is beating down on these rails and I fear I'm gonna die.
Oh, why? Over dramatic.
Over dramatic. Over dramatic. Over dramatic. Over dramatic.
trucking. Job don't pay me nothing. No health insurance, and I got no paid vacation. So please excuse my over dramatic situation. Chill out, bro. You're
Come on, man.
dramatic. Whoa, man, oh man.
I felt like when you're at a when you're at the symphony and you don't want to clap between the movements there at the
Right.
very end, then you're like, is that the end of the song? Did he put the baton down?
Right.
Is it over, or is there going to be another movement?
I've been that person before, clapping in between movements, and I
Isn't
have no
that
idea.
embarrassing?
It is.
I've done it
was like-
before.
It was like my first time I ever went to see an orchestra, and I'd already been playing the violin for like 10 years. And I go, and
You
I'd
got
been
the
playing
kid-
fiddle music, right?
You got the conductor, and he holds his baton up, and they pause, and he doesn't drop it.
And then I'm like,
all of a sudden, you have that one person that goes,
right.
and everybody stops and looks at you like,
me.
are you nuts?
I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. I really enjoyed it though.
I'll bet you did. So you mean to tell me you played fiddle music your whole life, but you never actually played violin music growing up?
Right.
Wow.
Yeah,
You weren't in
grew
like
up
school
fiddle.
orchestra or any of
Nope,
that?
no school orchestra. Where I was, I grew up in Richmond, Illinois, so there was no orchestra in school.
Richmond, Illinois. That's just on the other side of Lake Geneva, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No orchestra. You would think you would have grown up in Richmond, West Virginia, if there was no orchestra.
Yeah, well.
Pretty close, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been to Richmond before. You could write a song about that, I'm sure. I'm sure you have.
Oh, we have there. I actually don't have a song about Richmond, but our friend Tom does.
Yeah, shackled to a bar stool
That's the name of the song?
in Richmond, Illinois.
Oh yeah.
It's Richmond, Illinois by Tom Holden.
I'm going to have to check that one out at
Yeah,
some
you
point in
do.
time.
He is a great songwriter.
Yeah.
So
great.
now, if you're going to make me cry, what would you sing?
This next one. Oh my God. This
Do we
song.
got time? It's a
We
little
have
bit
time.
longer.
We've got time.
Okay.
Okay, we got time for
We
this.
got time,
This
baby.
is like this is called Damn Near Cool.
Damn near cool.
And let me tell you, it goes through a lot of emotions, but just listen.
All right.
Sitting on the back stoop contemplating days turn to nights again. But her eyes are pouring, tears drop into her mug. She swears that it wasn't this bad. Not even a month ago. I find it hard just to get out of bed. I just sleep through the radio. Sitting on the front porch conversating. The days turn to nights again. We're breathing out. You're all inhaling. When it's your only friend. The cool air of the winter night. Clings on to every breath. She lights, but you make me laugh to death. Oh. me be. I'm tired. I just got out of bed and let me see. My eyes are glued shut. Let me breathe for a while. Feel so. Let me be myself for a while. There we go.
Wow. Influence on that one?
No, a little Megadeth influence, but we don't have a drummer, but right now.
Right. Well, we do.
Well, we do, not
but
with
not
us.
with us.
He is at home with Randy.
Hey, Randy.
Hey, Randy.
Hey,
Max.
Randy. Is that a song? Hey,
That
Randy?
should be a song. Hey, Randy.
I like it. I like it.
Okay.
That's our next song.
No, we gotta do Nudi first.
Maybe. Hey, listen. They're both gonna happen.
Hey, you know what Randy means in England, right?
No.
You don't?
No.
Randy is the word that they use in England for horny.
What?
Yes, you didn't know that? Like, I'm feeling Randy? You never heard that before?
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, there could be some synergy between the Nudi branch and Randy. I mean, you just never know.
Oh, man.
Watch out, Max.
Got a little Randy, so I went swimming,
Nudi branch
found
is
a
coming
Nudi
for you.
branch. Yeah, exactly.
He's coming to South Milwaukee.
That's funny.
So you two have been playing together. You started the Lunar Lizards back in the fall, correct?
We actually started it about a year ago.
Was it? Has it been that long?
I
already?
know it's been that long, but we had our debut performance in November, at the end of November.
Gotcha. See, so the fall part, I knew that
Yeah.
rang true. Okay.
Yeah. But now, we're
So,
just.
Michael, are you doing any of your solo stuff still as well?
Well, yeah. I'm in the process of changing that into a band name now, but it's still a solo.
Michael
thing.
Boss Band.
Absolutely.
The Delivery Men.
The
Michael
Delivery
Boston. Michael Boston. The Delivery Men.
Delivery Men.
The
I love
Delivery Men.
it.
As long as it's not the Deliverance Men, we'll be
No.
all right. The Delivery
That's
Men's all right.
hilarious.
Delivering.
Delivery Boys.
That's right.
I like, Michael. If you said Michael Boss and the Delivery Boys, though, they'd expect like a little boy band behind you, doing the whole.
Hey, that would be sweet too.
I can't dig that. I can't
I'll be
see
a
that
backup
fitting.
dancer.
Yeah.
I'll
And
be a
now-
delivery boy.
And now the solid gold dancers.
Yeah.
That was a thing,
Right on.
back in the 80s, the solid gold dancers.
I believe
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it was a very cool thing. So, what kind of dance are you into? You got some moves? Can you cut a rug over there, Michael?
Can I cut a rug?
Oh
Yeah.
yes, he can
Yeah.
cut a rug.
Yep.
I can.
What's his go-to move?
You
Is it
say you can't dance.
the
Oh.
sprinkler? Does he do the lawn sprinkler?
Oh no, it's the beer in one hand, hand in the air in the other.
And then the fist bump. Yeah.
That's my
it.
dance move.
That's your
He
dance
does
move,
the
huh?
fist bump.
Yeah.
The fist pump.
And
The
when
fist
he's
bump.
having a really good time, he does the head nod and he gets the hair flip in there. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the little chicken neck.
Little that. Little
You
that.
get a little chicken neck in there. I saw that dancing at that debut performance when Earth Mother was playing. We were rocking out.
You guys were rocking out. I got to get that back on here again too. Wow,
Oh, totally.
What a great bunch of performers.
They're awesome.
I've just been so fascinated by the amount of talent that we've run into here, and then to see it all just kind of get shut off for you guys. So how are you dealing with the quarantine? How are you dealing with not having gigs as far as
You want to start, Mike?
in a livelihood, from a livelihood standpoint, yeah.
Well, I didn't depend on it as much as Georgia.
Got it.
It's just sad, you know.
Yeah,
It's a sad situation.
I mean, I'm still teaching online, so that's good.
Okay.
Like 12 out of 18 of my students are continued with online lessons.
Oh, that's
So
good.
That was relief because I love to teach and I hate to not teach. But then, of course, all the kids,
I've got my kids learning online. It's a different way of learning. It's definitely harder to take a piano lesson or a dance lesson online.
It's hard. It's hard to teach. It's hard. Honestly, the lessons have been going really smooth, except for the fact that sometimes the little kids, like when they're 6 years old and they can't tune their instrument.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can only do so much.
From
because
that far
if
away.
it's really out of tune, it's rough. But
Yeah, and I suppose at that age, you can't expect them to know how to tune their instrument.
yeah, I mean, and I've had lessons where I've taught the parents how to tune the instrument, but sometimes then strings break and.
Yeah.
So what do you teach? Fiddle only? Do you teach other instruments as well?
Mainly fiddle.
Okay.
I try to just teach fiddle because that's where my real heart is. But I also do some ukulele. And I have one beginner mandolin student.
Beginner mandolin student.
Mhm.
Is it an adult student or a child student?
Adult.
Yeah, I
have
just
a
had
lot
a
of
feeling that was
adults.
going to be an adult.
I have a lot of adults that are actually beginner fiddle students. They're like, especially with this quarantine, they're like, I'm trapped at home. I know I've got this fiddle, so I got it fixed. And they signed up for lessons, and they're like, we're ready. I'm like, hey, that's awesome.
Now, do you do any teaching, Michael?
No.
No.
You could learn from him, though,
I
people.
I
could see him teaching guitar. Or...
One person.
Yeah.
Almost two. And then the quarantine. And then it was just the beginning, and everybody had no idea what was going on. So I'll get back in contact with them eventually, but they were against the idea of the Skype thing, which I understand. I went to online high school, and it's different. So I understand not wanting to.
Do they have prom for online high or what?
Right? That'd be great.
They do.
Do they?
Mine did. I went to iForward, and they had it at some terrace and
Wait, for real?
in Madison,
Oh
and
my
we had a
God.
graduation too.
An in-person graduation?
Mhm.
But
Oh
your
my
entire
God.
high school is online.
It was called iForward. It's through Grantsburg School District.
Oh,
I'll bet
wow.
there are a lot of parents wishing their children were in that right now because it just goes on uninterrupted.
Yeah, I did high school online too. Well, partly online. I did part-time going to actual high school for like art class, but everything else was online.
I've got one who's a senior in high school this year, and they just put out the information that the fourth quarter is going to be for grade improvement only. So if you're good with what you got, you can just log off and tell everybody to bug off, and you're going to keep whatever grade you got. But if you want to improve it, you can go ahead and log in and try. And it's almost like you have a whole quarter worth of extra credit. Could you imagine?
Honestly,
I wish I was in high school.
If you're failing, you can still graduate, but if you're already doing great, you can't fail. I mean, that's the best of both worlds.
Yeah. I mean,
The first time students have gotten the power back, they got theirs.
unless they were just already done. I mean, unless like if you were kind of, I know like when I was in school, if I wasn't doing well in a class and it was like, if you do well in this test, you don't have to take the final exam, I would be like, darn it, I got to take that stupid final exam because I have no idea what I'm doing.
You think there'd be a little asterisk next to like everybody's graduation list, like graduated during COVID, like 20 years from now when they're in a job interview, the employer's gonna look at, oh, you graduated high school during COVID. Come on, that doesn't count.
That'd suck.
Yeah, it would suck.
Well, as long as I don't see why it'd be an issue, as long as it doesn't go longer than just the semester.
It's just such a weird time for everybody, man. How about athletes? Now, are either of you sports fans at all?
No.
I listen to the Lady Reds, and that's it.
The Lady Reds.
Yeah, the Carthage Lady Reds. That's it.
That's it.
Only
True
because of
diehard fan.
WLIP.
So no other sports that you follow: baseball, hockey, football, soccer, underwater basket weaving, swimming, diving.
Underwater basket weaving, maybe.
Sure. I like sports. I think they're entertaining.
The only thing I'd watch really is like if I'll watch baseball maybe with my grandma.
The thing about baseball is I don't understand why they don't just
Sure.
test all the teams. You know they're clean. You know they're good. Go to their spring training places where they play, where there's no fans. Play the game, stream it, and give people something
I
else.
thought they are doing that without the fans. I honestly
well, they
don't
talked
know.
about it, but they haven't started the baseball season yet.
My
And
grandma said, I was talking to her on the phone the other day. She said she really misses her baseball.
I'll bet, and you think about that, there's a lot of people, especially the older generation, that grew up listening to baseball on the radio.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter if there's fans or not. You could switch on the radio and listen to the game, or put it on TV, or stream it and watch your favorite player do whatever it is they do.
Right.
What is the risk in that? I mean,
We'll have to see.
presumably these athletes are going to the grocery store, right?
right.
That's the thing that kills me is now
Or maybe they're
everybody-
getting online shopping done.
Maybe they are.
That's
Maybe
my
that-
job now.
You're doing online shopping?
Doing online shopping and Pick and Save now.
Really?
Yeah, until I can get more gigs.
All right. Well, you got to do what you got to do right
Yeah.
now. I mean, a lot of people don't have anything at all, and it's fr- I spoke with a restaurant owner today, and they applied for the federal grant money, and he was explaining that they have to spend all the money on payroll, but the problem is they already laid people off and they're collecting unemployment. If you put them back on payroll, they're going to take a pay cut,
Right.
which is bizarre, and it's a weird thing. It's a weird world that we're living in.
It's the first time this ever happened, man.
It's the first time ever. Yes,
2020.
first time got our entire country down.
Isn't it like the first time churches have ever closed?
Yes.
Crazy. I
And-
mean, it's fascinating history.
What's amazing is some churches get creative. They're doing these drive-in church services, and they're still getting arrested or ticketed or something like
really?
that. Not in Wisconsin or Illinois. We've been pretty decent in Wisconsin. Yes, it's been locked down, but it hasn't been quite as draconian as everything else.
Yeah, I can only speak for Wisconsin.
Well, we are getting to the last seconds of the show here, guys. So I want to thank you again for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
And we are out of time. But ladies and gentlemen, Lunar Lizards, we have Georgia Ray, Michael Boss, and you guys just take us to the break, which is about 30 seconds here.
Okay.
And thanks for coming on.